Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the G Major Pentatonic Scale. So I'm going to walk you through the shape of the scale and I'm going to talk about some specific things that you should be doing with your wrist, with your thumb and with your fingers to play it properly. So the G Major scale is quite an easy scale to begin with. So we're going to look at an easy set of notes to play it with first, alright, which involves less of a stretch. The second method does involve a stretch. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off on the third fret of the low E string, which is a G note, all right? And we're going to follow that up with an A note, which is the fifth fret of the sixth string. And then we're actually going to start this off with our second finger, and we're going to play the A note with our little finger. This might be a little jarring for you because you're used to playing two notes apart with your first and your third, but we'll get to why that is. So the first two notes are, then we're gonna move down to the fifth string or the A string, and we're gonna fret our first finger on the second fret. All right, that's why we play it with our middle finger and our little finger, so that first finger is free to move down here. That's what it sounds like. The next note is a C note, which is the third fret of the A string, and the last note on the A string that we're going to play, or the fifth string, is the fifth fret on the A string. So all those five notes in succession sound a bit like this. All right, so once you've got this down, just practice it a couple of times on these two strings. And why that is because you'll get used to changing strings, all right? And especially because we're leading this scale with our little finger on the second note itself, you want to practice changing between the strings. And after that, the next note is an E note. Now that would be, but that becomes a bit of a stretch. So we're going to do the same thing we did while changing from the sixth string to the fifth string. We're going to drop our index finger back on the second fret of the D string. So that would look like this. The next note after that is an F sharp note. All right, and if we were playing that up here, so between this stretched out position and the easy one that we're doing, the fourth fret on the D string is a note that's actually common to both of them. And we're going to complete the G major scale with our little finger being on the fifth fret of the D string. And that's basically the scale. But normally when we learn a scale on the guitar, we want to learn it across the board. And what I mean by that is we've only covered three strings, right? We want to finish out the notes of the G major scale. And the way we're going to do that is by completing to the next G. So we've started on the third fret of the sixth string. We've ended what we've done so far on the fifth fret of the D string. And these two notes, these are octaves. So they're exactly 8 notes apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next octave that we got to get to is, so you're going to end on this note here. And the way we continue that is by playing a further set of the required notes in the G major pentatonic scale, from this one to this one. So this bit of the scale might be a little more difficult to play because we are skipping a few frets that otherwise. So we know that over here in the first position that we played, we're looking at a box shape, which is the 3rd fret on the A and E strings, and the 5th fret on the A and E strings. So even though we're adding this one, we're being governed by that box. Now the shapes in the second half of the scale are not that easy. So we're going to start off with where we ended, which is our little finger on the 5th fret of the D string, which is a G note. Then we're going to stretch all the way back to the 2nd fret on the G string, which is an A note. The next note is going to be the B note, which is the 4th fret on the G string or the 3rd string, and we're going to end off on the 3rd string with the 5th fret. So that looks a bit like this. And the next note after that is a D note, which is the 3rd fret on the B string. Then we got the next note, which is an E note, which is the 5th fret on the B string, forgive me. And we finish with F sharp and G. 2nd fret on the high E string and 3rd fret on the high E string. So I'm going to play it slowly once from the top all the way to the bottom for you guys, okay? So that's the sort of beginner way of playing it, where you don't have to stretch too much. I'm going to stop this video here. I'm going to take a break, and right after that, we're going to jump into the more complex version that looks a bit like this. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of this video. We're going to be looking at our 2nd position for the G major scale, and I'm going to waste no time. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start off on the same fret that we started off the last position on, which is the 3rd fret of the low E string. And for this position, what you can do is really make use of the markers on your guitar. I think most guitars will have a marker on the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, and the 7th fret. All right. So why that is because for the first 2 strings that we're going to play, the 6th string and the 5th string, or the low E string and the A string, we're going to play frets 3, 5, 7 in order. Right now, this is a big stretch, and we're playing very precise notes while playing scales. So as always, put your thumb behind the board. We know that the extremity of our stretch is from the 3rd fret to the 7th fret, right? So that means my thumb is going to roughly be behind the 5th fret, all right, to give my hand maximum support. And when it comes to the width of the board, my thumb is also somewhere in the middle at the back. So I'm just gonna come up a little bit for you guys. That's how you play the first 2 strings, and those are the notes on the first 2 strings. So it's 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7 on the low E string or the A string. And one of the things that I want you to practice is actually changing between the A string and the notes on the D string. Why? Because the notes on the D string are frets 4, 5, and 7. Alright, so when you get used to doing, which is 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, then the next big shift that you got to play is bringing that index finger down to the 4th fret. So if you could just practice changing from the 5th string to the 4th string. And once you've got that down, it's going to make your life a lot easier, because the next set of notes in this shape are the same notes but on the 3rd string. Sorry, the same frets but on the 3rd string. And once you've got that down, again, I want you to practice switching between the 3rd string and the B string, or the G string and the B string, or the 2nd string. And that's because it's principally the same thing. You're going to start in a new position, which is your first finger on the 5th fret, not the 4th fret. And you're going to play your last 3 notes as the 5th fret, the 7th fret, and the 8th fret. And let me tell you a good way to remember this. We spoke about octaves in the last video, about how that's an octave. Those are from the first note to the second one is 8 notes apart. Then from this one to the last one is also 8 notes apart. Similarly, in this shape, we start from here. We do play this note as well, but the note we're ending on isn't here. It's here, but it's the same note. It's a G note. So if I take this G note and I go 1 fret, 2 fret, 3 fret, 4 fret, 5 fret, 6 fret back on the string below, then I'll get the same note. That's just how the fretboard works, and that is something to keep in mind. So always remember, if you're getting confused about where you have to end up on, or what is the trajectory of notes that you got to play, an easy way to remember it is that you're covering the notes between these sort of checkpoints or milestones. And that's how I remind myself of the position. And as always, your thumb is really going to be an anchor for you when you're playing this. And why is it important to learn this position rather than just not the old one, the first one that we did, is because when you graduate from scales and you want to start using these notes in actual guitar solos that you're playing, having command over the same notes in different positions is what's going to make your guitar solos sound rich. For example, within this shape, if we just look at 3 notes, we look at the 5th fret on the 6th string, which is an A, the 3rd fret on the A string, which is a C, and a D, which is the 5th fret on the A string. Then I know I can recreate the same notes, and if I had to connect them by playing all of these notes in the middle, it would sound a bit like this. So, and the only way I know where those little blocks of notes to be connected is because I have been through the most complex, stretched out version of playing it just as a scale. So I know what parts of that scale to pick up and use when I want to start making a solo. So that's the practical implementation of this. And I'm gonna do now, in the next coming up videos, I'm gonna do a series of different major scale pentatonics. So we're gonna look at basically the second shape that we've done. We're gonna move that up the board, to if we're starting off on a G note on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, we move that 2 frets up, we got an A note. So this becomes the A major pentatonic. All right, and once we're done with major pentatonic shapes across the board, we'll even come back to the 1st fret. We're gonna start talking about minor pentatonics. And the minor pentatonic is something that every guitarist who wants to, expand beyond just, the 4-chord strumming pattern syndrome and learn something a little bit more should go through. The minor pentatonic is a versatile scale, and there's so many famous guitarists that, many of us would know that started off playing licks in the minor pentatonic and never actually left the minor pentatonic, which is fine in its own way. It's such a versatile scale that can be played across genres that most guys just do that. Even if the sound of their solos and their music changes, they just use the minor pentatonic in a new and different way, and they add notes to what the overall shape of the minor pentatonic is. So I can't wait to get there. I feel like those lessons are going to be a lot of fun. And I'm also going to make some lessons on how to play solos over chords, how to start writing your own solos, some advanced techniques like, So a lot of what I was doing there was legato, which is you don't actually play out all the notes that you ring on the guitar. You hit it once and you pull off the next series of notes, and it's a very economical way of playing. So I'm gonna get into some advanced techniques like that, and stuff that you can use to make a nice guitar solo and make it sound melodious and make it sound fun. So I'm not gonna go on for too long. I want to end this video actually right now, and I'll see you next time for the A major pentatonic. And until then, thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button if you like this video, and comment below if you have any feedback for me. And thank you so much for your time.